Hey, what's up, everybody? BDO44 coming at you with another video. All right, so it's been reported the Lakers are targeting two-way wings in free agency, as they should be. 100%. It is necessary for not only the Los Angeles Lakers, but for all of the teams in the league who don't have wings to pick them up. Make sure you have all of these players who can play the 3, 4, and 2 spot, 6'8" to 6'11", with long wingspans, preferably beyond 6'10" wingspan. You want these players on your team. You want as many of them as humanly possible. And even if they can't really play that well, you still want them on the team. Like, it's that real, because what's become ever so clear to me is that the only players that are really going to be able to stay on the floor in the new NBA is players who have that type of body length and who can switch everything. You have to be able to switch in a defensive setting, or otherwise you're going to be targeted in today's NBA. You're going to literally be targeted on every play. If you're a shorter guy, if you are, have a deficiency of any kind, you are going to be a player who's going to have to find ways of stopping players that you physically should not be able to stop in today's league. And that is why it's so important that every team really load up on those type of players, because until the game gets out of this phase, you're not going to be able to win unless you have a team full of those players. It is that simple. And that is why I'm looking at teams who have them and say, they legitimately have a chance at winning. A team like the Pelicans scares the hell out of me right now. I look at their team and I think they can legitimately win the championship this year, depending on if Zion Williamson comes back. Because Dyson Daniels, he's too much. No one knows it yet, but he is entirely too much. He is 6'8", and he has super long arms. He plays defense like skin. He's going to be one of the best defensive players on the wing going forward, in my opinion, if he develops properly. He's very strong. He's very quick, very wiggly, and he has offensive game. He passes, he scores, he shoots, he does what he needs to do to be on both sides of the floor. So now that piece is in New Orleans, on top of all the defensive other pieces they have, on top of Zion, on top of Brandon Ingram taking another step forward, on top of Alvarado and his defensive genius, on top of Jones and his prototype perfection to what it is we're talking about, it's going to be very difficult to stop that particular team. And then you can look around and see other teams that have similar body types. Toronto, Detroit, Golden State have that ability. Obviously, Boston. You're going to have to deal with teams like this. And if you don't have the players in place to do that, Milwaukee, obviously, you're going to find yourself in trouble. You're not going to be able to win. You're going to be targeted by these big, huge offensive athletes who are going to be attacking you. And you're going to have to find ways to win those matchups. And so physically it won't be possible. And you'll be relying upon the referees to whistle the ball, and that'll be what you're reduced to if you don't have enough of these wings on your team. So that's the new NBA, man. Things change every day. 2 years ago, it was all about shooters. If you didn't have shooters, you couldn't do anything. Now it's like, okay, if those shooters aren't tall, they're not staying on the floor either. And now it's getting tricky, because now it's like, okay, if you don't have super athletic big guys, they can't stay on the floor, because now you need those guys to be able to cover a lot of space to get out to the three-point line and effectively guard three-point shooters without fouling. That's tricky. So now it's made it difficult to keep some of these traditional centers on the floor too. So the game is changing, man. You got nothing but small forwards on the floor. It's nothing but small forwards, and it'll shift again. The game won't stay that way, but that's where we are. So you got to prioritize those guys, but you got to understand how quickly the NBA can change. And if you overpay those guys, you'll end up with the Evan Fournier type contract. That's exactly what ends up happening. You follow the fad, you do what you need to do to get those players, you overpay the wrong one, and you stuck. When the game changes, it's like, nah, you don't want that. So remain flexible in all these situations, but definitely try to get discounts on all these wing players. I like the fact that we're targeting them already. Shareef O'Neal, I see why we brought him in for sure. We want players like that because they have that body type. Even if they're not super talented, you could throw them out there and you won't have that defensive deficiency issue. So that's what it's about, man. That's the new NBA. I'm not mad at it. You still got to be able to hit shots too. That's important, but equally important, you got to be able to defend, particularly the perimeter. So, yeah, that's what I got, man. Lakers are targeting wings. Now, obviously, who are we talking about? Well, the guys that pay attention to on the waiver wire, it's Nicholas Batum, Josh Jackson. Those are the first names that come to mind. And there are other names like P.J. Tucker, who already has a commitment to Philly, from what I understand. Jay Crowder's another name I've heard. I think Boston's trying to get him back up there. So, those are the type of players that the Lakers should be kind of looking at. I don't remember who else is on the waiver wire, though. There's several other names that I'm pretty sure the Lakers are targeting in that vein. But I heard Nicholas Batum is tied to us. I still think it's a good chance he goes back to the Clippers. Usually that's how that goes. If a Clippers with the Clippers, he's kind of going to stay there, especially in this era where they have a really, really good team. So I'm almost leaning toward thinking he'll probably return there. But I hope we get him. I think he would be a great acquisition for what it is that we do. He's a little older than we don't like older players as much, but it's okay to have some balance with players like Batum, who can really facilitate your offense and help you defensively with that long length and things of that nature. So, yeah, keep your eyes open, man. Obviously, we're in the dark, but keep your eyes open. We are definitely going to be seeing the Lakers respect length and size more so than they did last year, and that is a very good thing. My name is BDF44. I thank you all for watching. I'm out.